is how Rembrandt sees himself. He is 23. And this is how he sees himself when he is 63, in his last self-portrait. Between these two faces lie 40 years of work, of drawing, etching, and painting. Rembrandt's earliest pictures painted at his parents' home, Mankind. At first, his search is above all for emotion, the spirit of man, joyful or tormented. In the Bible, he finds an inspiration that will never fail. For Rembrandt, as for Paul in captivity, man is the creature who knows not the things that are of God. Rembrandt's vision reflects the mysterious conflicts of existence, the spiritual and the material, light and human darkness. Mysterious opposites, the confusion of this world, the serenity of the next. Greatest of all, the wonder of Christ's revelation to mankind. To Rembrandt, it is the faces of the old that speak with deepest meaning. He sees them as characters from the Bible. Jeremiah grieving for the destruction of Jerusalem. The world of his imagination is peopled with figures from everyday life, but transformed in biblical splendor. The Bible is the great book. For many, it is the only book, as it is for Rembrandt's mother. But sometimes he leaves the holy stories when he paints those close to him. When he paints his father, Harman van Rijn, miller of Leiden. In portraits like these, Rembrandt discovers humanity, and is himself discovered. People talk about him.
There's a deal of fuss about this miller's son, Rembrandt van Rijn. It seems rather premature.
But it is not. The Guild of Surgeons in Amsterdam commissions a picture. Rembrandt paints Professor Tulp giving a lesson in anatomy. Picture is a triumph. The Capitol surrenders. He is 25 and his name becomes a household word. Rembrandt, the signature he puts to his work, is proudly simplified. From now on, his Christian name is enough. Often Rembrandt finds meaning enough in a face alone. Sometimes, though, it amuses him to catch and expose the folly of human vanity, to show his clients for what they are. Now everybody wants a Rembrandt.
His art is so sought after that you have to go down to him on your bended knee for a picture. And pay for it, too.
Many women are painted by Rembrandt, but only one touches his heart. She is Saskia. They marry. He is successful. Life is gay. Colorful and bright is the promise of life for Rembrandt now. A year later, Saskia gives him a son, but the child dies. And Rembrandt remembers Ganymede, carried away by the eagle of Zeus to the sacred heights of Olympus. Rembrandt returns to his first inspiration, the stories of the Bible. He receives another important commission from the Chamberlain of the Prince of Orange. 6 scenes from the Passion of Christ. It takes him a long time to complete them. And at last they are finished. And Rembrandt writes,
I have labored much so that these scenes shall move, and so come most near to nature. And this is why I have kept them so long beneath my hand.
To show his gratitude, Rembrandt makes the Chamberlain a gift. The Blinding of Samson. And he writes,
Sir, be sure to hang this picture in a good light, where it can be seen from a distance. So shall it be revealed most fully to the eye.
Rembrandt and Saskia have 3 children. All of them die in infancy. But once again she bears him a son, her last. His name will be Titus. And again, Rembrandt can paint portraits with a smile. And a new theme appears to enrich his work, the sanctity of the family. Now Rembrandt sets to work on a new commission, the greatest of his life. No stiff parade of official portraits in the dull convention of the time. Rembrandt is bold. His group must move. It is the living moment he has caught, as Captain Bunningcock orders his lieutenant to march away his company of burghers. is revolutionary. The style shocks, but it is impossible not to admire.
In truth, this work is so bold a piece of painter's art, so grand in its conception, that all its rivals seem no more than a show of playing cards when ranged against it.
But at the same time, Saskia dies. Abandoned to sorrow, Rembrandt expresses his grief in the parting of David and Jonathan. In the shadow which has fallen across his life, Rembrandt can find consolation only in his faith. And again, Christ returns. But Titus and his father are not alone for long. Her name is Hendrikia Stoffels. A new life begins now with new commissions from old patrons. The careless days, the days of easy living, have left a trail of debts behind them. Debts and distracting cares. Rembrandt works on with unflagging energy. Pictures from the Bible fill his studio. The blessing of Jacob on his grandchildren. And David plays the harp for Saul. Rembrandt's fame is established. He is commissioned to paint a second anatomy lesson. But the debts are still there. They increase. His house and furniture have to be sold. To put his affairs in order, the careful Hendrikia and young Titus must take over. And while they attend to business, the painter works on, undisturbed. He becomes absorbed in another great commission, another group, this time painted for the Guild of Clothiers. The picture is hardly finished when once again death destroys Rembrandt's happiness. He loses Hendrikia. Painting his own portrait now, Rembrandt sees himself as the Apostle Paul, his face scarred by age and care and 20 years of suffering. 20 years since Saskia died. Now only Titus is left. Titus, his only son. The words of St. Paul come back to him.
Life and death, present and future things, all are thine, O Lord.
One short glimpse of joy. It is to be the last. Titus marries. And Rembrandt, in his years of age, can still paint the joy of union, a prayer of happiness for his son. But Titus dies even before his child is born. Tenderly, in one of his last pictures, Rembrandt images the happiness his son could never know. And that is all. Rembrandt paints his last self-portrait. Between this picture, there lay a whole life. The life of Rembrandt, painter of man.